Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirannasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, text 20.
34. Sorry. 24.
20.
Yes, we can. 23, 24.
So we stopped at Archanam. We start from Archanam.
Yes, just a little reconnection.
Right.
Here, for the second time, Hiranyakasipu, sorry. We were just talking about Hiranyakasipu in the other class. Hiranyakasipu was asking, Prahlad, what's the best that you learned? And first time he said, everybody should go to the forest and take shelter in Krishna. Then he, the father sent him back, to the teacher, and he apparently was learning all this politics, Arthashastra and all that. So, but then again, the father very affectionately embraced him, even cries. And then he asked, so what did you learn? Hoping for better answer. But then he speaks.
He gave a perfect answer.
He spoke,
we are still.
He spoke this nine
process of devotional service.
Process of devotional service, and then one was dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person. For he has acquired complete knowledge. So a complete diametrically opposed philosophy of life than the father.
Must be heartbreaking for Hiranyakashipu, right? But the way he deals with the heartbreak is what makes him a demon.
Yes. So we are read the Srila Prabhupada gives a general description, then he gets into each, and we covered till Pada Sevanam. Down. And more. And now we start from Archanam.
Archanam. After Pada Sevanam comes the process of Archanam, worship of the deity. If one is interested in the process of Archanam, one must positively take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and learn the process from him. There are many books for Archana, especially Narada Pancharatra. In this age, the Pancharatra system is particularly recommended for Archana, deity worship. There are 2 systems of Archana, the Bhagavat system and Pancharatrika system. Pancharatriki system. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no recommendation of Pancharatriki worship because in the Kali Yuga, even without deity worship, everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, remembering, and worshipping of the lotus feet of Lord. Rupa Goswami states,
Shri Vishnu Shavane Parikshita Bhavat Bhayasa Kikirtane Prahlada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Pritu Pujane Akruratu Abhivandane Kapipatir Dasita Sakyarjuna Sarvasmatma Nivedani Balira Bhut Krishnaptir Esham Param.
Parikshit Maharaj attained salvation simply by hearing, and Shukadeva Goswami attained salvation simply by chanting. Prahlad Maharaj attained salvation by remembering the Lord. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, attained perfection by worshipping the lotus feet. Prithu Maharaj attained salvation by worshipping the deity of the Lord. Akrura attained salvation by offering prayers, Hanuman by rendering service, Arjuna by establishing friendship with the Lord, and Bali Maharaj by offering everything to the service of the Lord. All these great devotees served the Lord according to a particular process, but every one of them attained salvation and became eligible to return home back to Godhead. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple, especially for householder devotees who are opulent in material possessions. The path of deity worship is strongly recommended. An opulent householder devotee who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. If one does not personally worship the deity but engages paid servants instead, he is considered lazy and his worship of deity is called artificial. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for deity worship, and consequently for householder devotees, the worship of the deity is compulsory. In our Krishna consciousness movement, there are brahmacharis, grihasthas, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis. But the deity worship in the temple should be performed especially by the householders. The brahmacharis can go with the sannyasis to preach, and the vanaprasthas should prepare themselves for the next status of pronounced life, sannyasa. Grihastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activities, and therefore, if they do not take to deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. Deity worship means following the rules and regulations precisely. That will keep one steady in devotional service. Generally, householders have children, and the wives of the householders should be engaged in caring for the children, just as women acting as teachers care for the children in a nursery school. Grihastha devotees must adopt archana vidhi, or deity worship, according to the suitable arrangements and directions given by the spiritual master. Regarding those unable to take deity worship in the temple, there is the following statement in the Agni Purana. Any householder devotee circumstantially unable to worship the deity must at least see the deity worship. And in this way, he may achieve success also. The special purpose of deity worship is to keep oneself always pure and clean. Grihastha devotees should be actual examples of cleanliness. Deity worship should be continued along with hearing and chanting. Therefore, every mantra is preceded by the word Namaha. In all the mantras, there are specific potencies of which Grihastha devotees must take advantage. There are many mantras preceded by the word Namaha. If one chants the holy name of the Lord, he receives the result of chanting Namaha many times. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can reach the platform of love of Godhead. One might ask, then what is the necessity of being initiated? The answer is that even though the chanting of the holy name is sufficient to enable one to progress in spiritual life to the standard of love of Godhead, one is nonetheless susceptible to contamination because of possessing a material body. Consequently, special stress is given to the Archana Vidhi. One should therefore regularly take advantage of both Bhagavata process and Pancharatriki process. Deity worship has two divisions, namely pure and mixed with fruitive activities. For one who is steady, deity worship is compulsory. Observing the various types of festivals such as Jagannath, Sri Janmashtami, Ramnami, Narsimha Chaturdashi is also included in the process of deity worship. In other words, it is compulsory for householder devotees to observe these festivals. Now let us discuss the offenses in deity worship.
Can we make a few points here? You see, in other words, a few days ago we were saying, for a materialist, he who is pious, he calls the Lord in his life through prayers, through religious rituals. I'm talking about any tradition, not only Hindu or Vaishnava. But basically, his center is his own life. And God, of course, is welcome to bring more prosperity or good children or good jobs and things like that. And that's appreciated. Now, for the devotee, the process is the inverse. There is the Lord, His life, His mission, His pastimes, and we want to
Be part of it.
be part of it, be integrated in it. So this concept of the festivals means, yes, of course, we'll have a few birthdays for our children and for our parents and this and that. But main thing, the year should be divided into, okay, now it's Janmashtami, before it's Balaram Jayanti, then is Radhastami, then you prepare for Kartik, then you have Shri Prabhupada's appearance, and then you have a series, okay, in January, or you have Nishinga Chaturdasi, then you have Gaur Purnima, and then you have I said Nishinga Chaturdasi, I mean Nityananda Trayodasi, then you have Gaur Purnima, and many, of course, we could say smaller celebrations. Today, for instance, is Chitra Devi appearance. So today the program in the temple was shifted. Instead of having the class at 8, they had it at 7. So they had more time to prepare the altar. And you can see in YouTube, Darshanartik, 19 October. And you can also see Madhava's got a new Mukut piece for my wife, made by my wife. Yeah, Madhava, like this. Okay, anyway, so I'm just saying, so when it becomes, Radha Madhava, if you live in my perspective, Radha Madhava, the Ashtasakis becomes the center of your life. And your life is it's like timed by the celebrations. And so that's the idea. We participate in the life of God, in His birthdays, in His celebration, Ram Vijaya, and the appearance of the acharyas, and so on. Okay. Now, another point I wanted to make, some people, some readers might not understand, because Srila Prabhupada say, if a Grihastha doesn't have deities but doesn't worship means he's lazy. See, what is he referring to? What I think he's referring to. There are, especially pious businessmen like Marwaris, especially in India, they have deities, and that big Radha Krishna deities. But often what they do is they pay a pujari, they pay a brahmana. So they, you see the brahmana. Once I happened to be in a house with the Marwari, the brahmana was doing all the puja there, and the man of the house was just, I don't know, was sitting in the living room, maybe reading newspaper or something like that. There is a famous letter in which Srila Prabhupada talks about a man in I think also Marwari, Bajoria, and a man in Calcutta, and he says, very good that he's installing the deities. This is a process. We want people to learn at our place and then do the same thing at home. But it should not just be delegated to a higher priest. They should be the servants of the deities. They should, in other words, the husband, the wife, the children should all serve the deities at home. So it's not just, okay, I have a beautiful deities, I pay somebody, they do the thing. Of course, if you really need help, it's different. But because maybe you have a lot of deities. But it's not that you just, okay, now they do the puja, just give them money.
I don't see what is wrong with that, because sometimes maybe devotees are so busy, both husband and wife work, and they're very rich. They really want to come and do puja and everything, but they have hired some brahmana who cooks for them, who also maybe takes care of the deity, and they come every morning, pay obeisance. They may not have time to dress the deities every day, bathe the deities. I don't see what is wrong with it.
Well, but see, these people like Marwaris, they're not so busy. They go to the office at 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock. I'm talking about Indian. I'm not talking about computer programmers in America.
Most people don't have deities. I feel it's better to have deities and engage somebody to take care and do things than not have deities at all.
See, Srila Prabhupada addresses that. He says, if you cannot have deities, in this purpose, we just read, if you don't have deities, please go and see the deities. So, again, I'm talking, if a Marwari was a big businessman and is very rich, and he goes to office at 11 o'clock in the morning, not at 7, he's not in the traffic at 6:30 trying to get to the office. And instead of worship the deity, he's reading the newspaper, and eats, 26 parautas, and while the pujari is going on, maybe he goes there 5 minutes, oh, okay, Hare Krishna, like that, then that's what I'm talking
How
about.
many 26 paratha?
I'm just saying that's not the way. Now, if you say, okay, so if somebody is he doesn't have time for deities, maybe we shouldn't have deities, or that may be a case. Of course, if you're a king and or if you travel extensively, you may have so, but it's the mentality. Try to understand. Main thing is the mentality. It's not that, oh, I Radha Krishna at home, but I pay this guy like I pay anybody, and they do. No. The idea is to have Radha Krishna at home is that this is Radha Krishna's house. I and my family are the servants, and we do the abhishek, we do the dressing. If we need some help, okay, but not the mentality that I just pay for somebody. That's it's a mentality. Otherwise, okay, Krishna may look at you and say, okay, you give money for my worship, okay, I give you money, bank account. Next life you'll have another bank account, another Marwari body, another even bigger Radha Krishna, and another even bigger Brahman. And that if that's your identity, you pay for the worship, fine, and you read the newspaper in the next room. So
Yeah, okay, I get it. It's about the consciousness, basically. Then.
Yeah, consciousness, how it manifests in activity, obviously.
Okay. Now, let us discuss the offenses in deity worship. The following are offenses. A. To enter the temple with shoes or being carried on a palanquin. B. Not to observe the prescribed festivals. C. To avoid offering obeisances in front of the deity. D. To offer prayers in an unclean state, not having washed one's hands after eating. To offer obeisances with one hand. F. To circumambulate deity in front of the deity. G.
Directly. So first, directly.
Oh, to circumambulate directly in front of the deity. Why is this not right?
I'm not sure what it means. It means that you don't give the back to the
Madhva
deities.
Sampradaya, they pay obeisances. Like if you can't go around a deity, they just turn in front of the deity. It's called parikrama. G used
I
to
don't
do
know.
that.
We should see the Sanskrit.
My grandmother did it 100 times a day.
Different sampradayas have different rules, and I'm not sure exactly what it means. My sense it may mean that you don't give it back to the deities, but I don't know. We should.
Whenever Jananivas Prabhu is doing parikrama and he comes in front of Radha Madhava, he turns around.
That's purposefully. It's not. It's purposefully. That's different. And I'm not think. Don't think that means we should. Okay, we should ask Jananivas Prabhu. We should look at the Sanskrit, original Sanskrit, what it means. And then we should ask Jananivas Prabhu what it means, or somebody else.
Okay. G. To spread one's legs before the deity means like to show the leg.
No, I think means to give the feet to the deities.
Yeah.
Just like a respectable person, you don't sit with the feet towards the guru. You don't sit with the feet towards the deities. In fact, you see sometimes our guards, they correct people sometimes.
Hey, don't sit like that.
Yeah,
people go to sleep in front of the deity. Sometimes some ladies come, they will peacefully sleep in the temple hall.
It will come. Yeah.
Then H, to sit before the deity while holding one's ankles with one's hands. I, to lie down before the deity. J, to eat before the deity.
Obviously, if you had to just take a little maha or something that you stole, it's different. But you're like having a meal in front of the.
But in some places, the temple hall is small or something, and they have prasadam in the temple.
But they close the deities.
We don't sometimes.
Who?
Our house.
We eat in the prashadam.
No, we don't eat, but sometimes when we have guests, we give them something to drink or some small.
That's different. I mean, it's not really eating.
We give them cookies or snacks or something.
Then we should close it. we have the closing thing.
To speak lies before the deity.
Also outside the temple room, of course. But specifically in front of the deities, especially, I mean, if you do a promise to the deity which is false, is false. Or even speaking lie, because these are all dirty things. See, when you speak a lie, actually the vibration contaminates the air. You know that Srila Prabhupada sometime he would take a longer view to avoid the court. Because he said that in the court there's so much lying. The atmosphere, it's so contaminated. And of course, somebody like a mystic, somebody like Srila Prabhupada will feel that dirtiness. And so, besides the fact, okay, so you're in front of God, even in front of God, you tell a lie. Besides that kind of idiocy, it's like, I understand you don't know that God sees you, but in front of God, you should know He sees you. But besides that, you create dirtiness.
I know some devotees that say that if they're lying and other people don't know, it's for their protection, it's okay to lie.
Those are special cases. Like sometimes, like eating in front of the deities. Sometimes you do this annaprasana in front of the deities, right? You put the baby, you take the baby, okay, eat this sweet rice. But that's different. It's a special ceremony. It's not that every day you take breakfast in front of the deity. You stand in front of the deity, eat a sandwich. Very nice, deities. Very nice.
I think it's also respect.
Yeah,
focus on the deities and not. Anyway, I'm talking about speaking lies. Like sometimes people may say, something. Anyway, I know some people that say that.
But
they lie and then they say the person doesn't know anyways. To make them feel good, it's okay to lie.
There are, you see, in the 8th canto, next canto, we'll discuss Shukracharya. When Bali Maharaj, his disciple Bali Maharaj, make a promise to Vamanadeva, Shukracharya doesn't like the idea because he was dependent on Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is donating everything. So he gives the whole philosophy, and some of it, of course, may be relevant, that there are some cases in which you can lie, and it's okay. Like I remember one, you may lie about the beauty of a bride, no? There's a nice there's a nice marriage, and you got this bride, and then you say, beautiful couple. What are you going to say during the wedding? This ugly cow. So if you say, beautiful, this is marvelous. So that's okay. But it should not be consequential, because that doesn't hurt anybody. It may not be the truth. Like there is a YouTube video that in a Christian thing, at one point they drink wine or something, and there was this bride, very fat, already very fat and ugly, and then she goes for all the teeth fall inside the wine. She had these false teeth, no? She had this what do you call it, false teeth?
Dentures?
Yeah, the denture. She has the old denture. And then she goes, when the dentures falls in the second wine. Oh, it's in YouTube. So. But still, you can say the beautiful, beautiful bride, beautiful. Okay. Hell.
To address someone loudly before the deity.
Yeah, it's not a stadium, Hey, okay, come here. Not like that.
To talk nonsense before the deity.
I'm curious to see the Sanskrit of this. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it shouldn't be. In other words, the mood should be solemn. It should not just, some Grammikata. This happened. Come on.
Yeah, because it's a person. Krishna is a person, and to not treat him.
Yeah.
To cry before the deity. Oh, I do that
Well,
sometimes.
that's to cry meaning, okay, you don't bring your misery, you don't bring your miserable life and depression. Now, if you cry because of love, it's different. In fact, throughout the Bhagavatam, we see devotees who cry when they see the Lord. And they're not crying because of some depression at home. Okay.
But what's the wrong? What's wrong in
Because you don't bring negativity. You don't bring negativity in front of the deities.
who else I'll bring my negativity to? If I'm sad, I have to bring it to Krishna only, no?
Anyway, we can make more research. How
So
much can you cry?
argue before the deity?
Hmm.
To chastise someone before the deity? To show someone favor before the deity? To use a harsh words before the deity? To wear a woolen blanket before the deity? Hey, you're not supposed to wear woolen blanket.
Seems. Now, yeah, I don't know if it's especially for the pujaris, because the woolen blanket loses something and then they go to the food, or just in general.
Right, it says before the deity. To blaspheme someone before the deity, to worship someone before the deity, and to use vulgar language before the deity, to pass air before the deity. That's sometimes unavoidable. I mean, you're in a very crowded temple. There's so many people, and you can't get out of the temple, and you have to pass air. What are you going to do?
Then it's double offense. Vaishnava parada and Ditya parada.
Okay. to avoid very opulent worship of the deity, even though one is able to perform it.
In other words, if one is miser, you offer the cheapest things, the cheapest
Plastic. And then to eat something not offered to the deity.
Yeah, because it's like, this I can eat, this I can enjoy independently, So this, I believe, is also outside, not just in front of the deities. Because
If you
meaning,
have a deity, you should offer everything to the deity.
yeah, if you just eat something and take an ice cream, you just don't, so means like you're saying to the deity, no, this is for me, it's not for you.
Then also applies to essential oils, right? First, we should offer to the Lord.
Yes, everything
What
we
about
enjoy.
essential oil that goes on the lower parts of the body? Can it be offered to the Lord?
They go only on the lower
No,
parts.
all over, but also lower parts. Like, I don't like to offer some, say, oils that go on my feet.
These are very technical questions. You can offer a little bit to the deity, so the deity has enjoyed it, and maybe that part you consider offered, and the rest maybe you don't consider, something like that.
What about shoes and socks and we shouldn't offer, right?
No, because it's prasad. How can you wear on the lower body the prasad? No, like you can't offer your underwear to the deities. But I mean, like another point about shoes, not entering with shoes. It's not just or being carried with a palanquin. You see, is on the same level. My understanding of what I heard is this: it's not just a question of hygiene. Okay, shoes are dirty, because you can have a bag of shoes that only you use for the temple, right? You could have a perfectly new shoes, never touch the ground, and you can just use it in the temple room. But that's not the point. The point is the humility, because taking off your shoes or getting down of a palanquin means you take yourself as a servant. Shoes, especially in tropical culture, means power, control. Instead, you take off your shoes and you go inside the deity room. I'm thinking of another. There was a big administrator of, I think was the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and he had to go in a mosque. So he took off the shoes and he had big holes in his socks. So the whole world saw that. He was a very, very big man, but somehow both big toes, he had big holes. And that was, the whole world laughed. Generally, the whole world cries because of the IMF, but this time they laughed. Okay.
Sorry, I remembered a joke. What did the crocodile say after eating a clown? It's funny. Like that. This shows of the guy.
Then?
To avoid offering fresh fruits to the deities according to the season. To offer food to the deity which has been already used or from which has first been given to others. In other words, food should not be distributed to anyone else until it has been offered to the deity. To sit with one's back toward the deity. To offer obeisances to someone else in front of the deity. Not to chant proper prayers when offering obeisances to the spiritual master.
Somebody finish.
To praise oneself before the deity. Not to blaspheme the demigods. In the worship of the deity, these 32 offenses should be avoided. It's interesting, you shouldn't blaspheme the demigods.
Of course, there is the servants, it's like blaspheming the pujari or something. I mean, demigods are the servants of Krishna and they're dear to Krishna. And they may not always be perfect, like the story of Maharaj Prithu when Indra steals the horse. And at one point, after back and forth, Prithu is ready to kill him. And then Brahma comes and don't kill him, you're both empowered serpents. And then Prithu, of course, stops. Indra later apologizes, even wants to touch the feet of Prithu. Prithu said, "No, come and embrace me." And then Vishnu appears, he gives instructions. So you got to respect them because even sometimes they're a little naughty.
In the Varaha Purana, the following offenses are mentioned. To eat in the house of a rich man. To enter the deity's room in the dark. To worship the deity without following the regular principles. To enter the temple without vibrating any sound.
That's why there's a bell, because you knock the door. In other words, you announce yourself. Because like we do say you go in an office of the bank manager or the office, you announce yourself. You don't just enter. Here I am. No, you go talk, talk.
What if the deities are in the middle of the living room where every time you're going and coming, some people don't have a special prayer room that you can knock on the door before going.
Well, if there is no door, you cannot knock on a door.
Yeah, my point is in the middle of the house, like middle of the living room.
Yes, in that case,
clap.
No, it's not you clap all day, go to the phone. No, it's a question of, again, mentality, no? I mean, if you have, like, I was staying in somebody's house in Singapore, and there is the entrance door, and then there is the altar, and so every time you come inside, of course, you can do something, some sort of acknowledge. Yeah.
To collect food that has been seen by a dog. To break silence while offering worship to the deity. To go to the toilet during the time of worshipping the deity. To offer incense without offering flowers. Did you know that?
I read it, yeah.
To worship the deity with forbidden flowers. Yeah, there are some flowers that's not for Shri Krishna, like hibiscus, Nilakanta flowers, and all is for Mahadev. Actually, Krishna, you shouldn't offer flowers that are not fragrant. There are some flowers won't smell anything, you're not supposed to offer them. What about plastic flowers?
They're not fragrant. I mean, if it's a for the decorate, like for instance in Chopati, they have all these animals on the altar. No, maybe for them some little plastic flower is not a big deal. I don't know, but not really for Krishna, right?
To begin worship without having washed one's teeth. To begin worship after sex. To touch a lamb, dead body, or a woman during her menstrual. What? Oh, to touch a lamb, to touch a dead body, or to touch a woman during her menstrual period, or to put on a red or bluish clothing, unwashed clothing, the clothing of others, or soiled clothing. Oh my God, I do put red and blue clothes.
But that's as far as I understand. Anyway, as far as I understand, I don't know. I don't want to comment because these are all technical things. Then
because blue is the color of Radharani and red is the color of Kirtida. So Krishna thinks that they have come and then he'll be disappointed to see the monkey
that's the
face.
reason.
Other offenses are to worship the deity after seeing a dead body, to pass air before the deity, to show anger before the deity, and to worship the deity just after returning from a crematorium. After eating, one should not worship the deity until one has digested the food. Nor should one touch the deity or engage in any deity worship after eating sunflower oil or hing. These are also offenses. Oh, I didn't know this.
What's a sunflower?
I think it's sunflower.
I'll check.
You can ask Alexa.
Specifically Carthamus tinctoria. It is a vegetable commonly used in cooking and manufacturing. It is a colorless to pale yellow oil with a mild.
This is the sunflower.
Okay. Similar is not sunflower, but it's similar.
To me, it looks completely different. That's okay. Oh, sunflower. Sorry, this is a sunflower.
There's just the middle black thing that's different.
Okay, so this flower, what's the problem with that?
I have no idea why. Hing also, I don't know what's the problem with hing. I mean,
maybe they have a strong smell that you cannot really take it out,
yeah.
or something like this.
But my point is, what means what? To touch them and to do puja, right?
That's my understanding.
But I can make the mukut pieces for Radha Madhava. That's called worship or not? Especially
it's better if you are assisted by a Muslim.
He's saying that because I have a Muslim assistant who helps me. Like with these hard cardboards, I sometimes find it difficult to cut it into shape. So there's a Muslim artist person. Sometimes he helps me to cut those cardboards to make things. So he's joking then.
Anyway, you understand the principle of cleanliness, right? So
in other places, the following offenses are listed. Oh God, so many offenses.
Hare Krishna.
Oof. To be against the scriptural injunctions of the Vedic literature or to disrespect within one's heart the Srimad Bhagavatam while externally falsely accepting its principles. To introduce differing shastras means?
There are two aspects to that. I was just one Sri Prabhupada disciple was instructing me on this. This is offense number 23 in the Nectar of Devotion. I put in the book.
Differing shastras.
Different shastra means interpreting shastra in a different way, like people they do with this Bharadwaj Samhita. They don't like the idea that women can become gurus. So there is one verse that says that if they're Krishna conscious, Shudras, women, people who generally can't initiate people, they can also initiate people. But because they don't like the idea, they start they start speculating. They say, no, the woman, yes, they can do it, but they have to be siddhas, or they have to be bimbhava, or they have to be residents of Goloka Vrindana. They write that. There is a book. Or they have to be completely beyond the gunas. So they have to be completely beyond the mood, the bodily conception. So that's like introduce different shastra means you turn it, or you introduce shastras which are against Vaishnavism, like some Purana, they just worship Shiva, or frankly, even some parts of the Manu Samhita are not for us. So if you start preaching on those parts that this is our, no, actually, the Manu Samhita, which we have now, it promotes caste-based varnashram. It's against Daiva varnashram. So if you start preaching Manu Samhita, that's the most important book. That's an offense. And it's a common offense. Even yesterday I had an interview, online interview, live, and some people in the comments were just pushing Manu Samhita, Manu Samhita, Manu Samhita. Then I explained Manu Samhita. Some scholars say that even less than half of the verses are the original. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself explained that the original Manu Samhita was different. It was expressing Daiva Varnasha, and then they twisted and then interpolated, and now it's basically a caste system book.
Plus, in Manu Samhita, it says if you're not born from a Brahmana thing, you can't.
You can't even read it, yeah.
So
Can't even read it. So what's the point?
If you don't follow Manu Samhita, what's the point of trying to push it on other people's faces?
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, you shouldn't even read it or present it. Yeah, there are many things like that. But because, see, as the devotee, the movement becomes more familiar with more books. See, imagine. Srila Prabhupada comes to America, only has got the 3 books of the first canto, and he even was using Dr. Radhakrishna's Bhagavad Gita. He's a Mayavadi, but he was using for the translation. He said 90% are okay. Okay. And so imagine these people didn't know anything. They didn't know anything. You know, when when they decorated this first devotees in 26 Second Avenue, they had some prints from India. And one was Hanuman. And one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what is this? Is it a cat? Is it a cat? So, because the Thai Hanuman has got the thing like that, it looked a little bit cat-like, you know. And so the guys didn't even know an Hanuman from a cat. Okay, they didn't know anything. So they were kind of ignorant, I mean, super ignorant, but also innocent. So you say Bhagavad Gita, okay, Bhagavatam, okay, Chaitanya Charitamrita, okay. But then, you know, after 40 years, 50 years, the movement, people start, you know, oh, this book, oh, this Smriti, oh, this Shastra, oh, this Purana, oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. And they're, especially their previous samskaras, they come out and they got so attracted to this and that and the other thing. Like somebody wrote in a formal paper, signed by 12 people that they call themselves a scholar board, they say that Chanakya Pandit was a Vedic authority. And Srila Prabhupada never said that. Srila Prabhupada said Chanakya Pandit was a worldly man, a politician. Once Yamuna Devi asked, but was this a spiritual authority? No, not like that, not like a spiritual authority. But of course, I mean, good principle, God conscious principle, good codes. What's that? So I'm just saying this is happen, especially when the devotees get more into the Indian culture and they discover this and they discover that and discover the other thing. And then they start thinking, well, it's Indian or some Shastra. But some Shastra are not for us. Some Shastra are not for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Like there is the Shastra, Srila Prabhupada quotes the Shastra that says that one should go in the Amavasya and kill the goat near the river. That's not for Gaudiya Vaishnava. It's not that, oh, well, the Shastra says like that, let me go and kill a goat, you know. It's for low-class people who can't stop, okay, do that sacrifice. Can we focus?
Sure.
So that's the subtle, but see, that's a subtle one. It's not like passing gas. Everybody understands that it's not good, it's not pleasant to pass gas. But
I just need to, yeah.
but this is more subtle. There is no hing, there is no digestion, there is no shoes or anything. But that can be the one says the most dangerous, because you introduce other shastra, and then the old system of pramana, the old system of evidence, it twists, and so it may become the old Apa Sampradaya. And it's all shastra. There is all shastra, but shastra has many levels, and some shastra are irrelevant for us.
Yeah, absolutely. To chew pan and betel before the deity, to keep flowers for worship on a leaf of a castor oil plant. Show me castor oil plant, how that looks. Castor oil. Castor, C-A-S-T-O-R. C-A-S-T-O-R. Castor oil, plant.
Leaf.
No, plant. We have that plant.
It seems this kind of looks like marijuana.
Looks like marijuana.
Okay.
To worship the deity in the afternoon. Because why the rest?
See, again, we need to see the Sanskrit, because these are quick English rendering. Obviously, there are worship also of the deities in the afternoon, right? You wake them up, 4 o'clock, there's an arti. It may mean that you wait for till the afternoon to worship the deities, or something like that. Or maybe it means in the when the deity should rest. I mean, these both things.
To sit on the altar or to sit on the floor to worship the deity without a seat. That's why we should never sit on the ground. They say Bhumi Devi will take away your credits. To touch the deity with the left hand while bathing the deity. It's very difficult to not touch the deity in the left hand sometimes.
You bathe.
While bathing. Okay.
While bathing.
Afterwards, okay. Okay. To worship the deity with a stale or used flower. To spit while worshipping the deity. Who does that?
Somebody with a very high salivation. Or somebody, some people chew betel all the time, so they feel to spit, but they may worship. Who knows?
To touch the deity with, to advertise one's glories while worshipping the deity. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's like you can say something about yourself.
To apply tilak to one's forehead in a curved way.
Yeah, or it may also be that anyway, when a curved way, let's take it like that.
To enter the temple without having washed one's
feet. To worship the deities. Oh yeah, sorry.
To offer the deity food cooked by an uninitiated person. Yeah. We do that sometimes.
Who?
We.
Well, in a house, the standards.
Temple deity.
Well, I mean, obviously we should try to do our best, but the standards are different. Like sometimes you can't offer things just both outside, depending. Some things both outside, like sweets. Depends on which cookies. There are cookies made by the devotees, or just, of course, if you buy Britannia, you can just go Radhamada. Here, some Britannia cookies for you.
Britannia cookies. To worship the deity and offer bhoga to the deity within the vision of an uninitiated person or non-Vaishnava. What to do if you live in a non-devotee family environment?
Again, you need to adjust, but this is the offer bhoga, so you should cover the bhoga, because an initiated person, non-Vaishnava, let's say you have your half demented grandfather, he goes for the house, has nothing to do. He sees the bog, and good, beautiful cake, so it should not be done. So you should cover, even in a house, you can have a little, things for covering the offer.
Demented grandfather.
Or when, other people, kids,
Kids.
they're always hungry, they look, oh, food.
To offer worship to the deity without worshipping Vaikuntha deities like Ganesha. To worship the deity while perspiring.
Means like sweating, just sweat, And then
Okay, yeah. To refuse flowers offered to the deity. To take a vow or oath in the holy name of the Lord. Oh, you're not supposed to take a oath in the holy name of the Lord. If one commits any of the above offenses, most of the offenses I have committed, one must read at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Rajeshwari Radhika Mataji, when are we starting Bhagavad Gita? I need to atone myself. This is confirmed in the Skanda Purana, Avanti Khanda. Similarly, there is another injunction stating that one who reads 1,000 names of Vishnu can be released from all offenses. Okay, that's good. That's my saving grace. In the same Skanda Purana.
It's not just you put Surya Gayatri's.
Reads, yeah.
I mean, the other was.
Okay, I can chant, yeah. I can chant along. In the same Skanda Purana, Reva Kanda, it is said that one who recites prayers to Tulasi or sows a Tulasi seed is also freed from all offenses. That's also we should do every day. Reciting prayers, not just putting water in Yani Kani Chapapani. That's also prayer, right? Similarly, one who worships the Saligram Shila can also be relieved of offenses. I was thinking to print out all the offenses and put in the deity room. Instead, I'm thinking I'll put this in the printer. All the.
What is the chat?
Soon. Yeah, Vishnu Sahasranam. I mean, I asked, we are supposed to start Bhagavad Gita recitation. So I said, when can we start? I should start Vishnu Sahasranam also because we are doing so many offenses. I can do after Bhagavatam, 20 minutes.
You are doing offenses mostly.
Because you're not doing deity worship only, so I'm doing offenses.
I'm the lazy man this year, probably.
Okay, so I think after Bhagavatam, every day 15-20 minutes, I'll do Vishnu Sahasranam so that the holy names can relieve 20 minutes. It takes me 20 minutes if I do fast.
Okay.
Like that, 15 minutes to take. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said that one who worships Lord Vishnu, whose 4 hands bear a conch shell, disc, lotus flower, and a club, can be relieved from the above offenses. In the Adi Varaha Purana, it is said that a worshipper who has committed offenses may fast for 1 day at a holy place known as Saukarava and then bathe in the Ganges.
So it's giving different options,
I think what I want to do is Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, Tulasi prayer. These are my 3 refuge. Ganga, once we can go, Ganga Ekadashi is to take bath. In the process of worshipping the deity, it is sometimes enjoined that one worship the deity within the mind. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda, it is said all persons can generally worship within the mind. The Gautamiya Tantra states for a sannyasi who has no home, worship of the deity within the mind is recommended. In the Narada Pancharatna, it is stated by Lord Narayan that worship of the deity within the mind is called Manasa Puja. One can become free from the 4 miseries by this method. Sometimes worship from the mind can be independently executed. According to the instructions of I.V. Hutra Muni, one of the Navayogendras, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, one may worship the deity by chanting all the mantras. 8 kinds of deities are mentioned in the Shastra, and the mental deity is one of them. In this regard, the following description is given in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. In the city of Pratishthanapura, long ago, there resided a Brahmana who was poverty-stricken but innocent and not dissatisfied. One day, he heard a discourse in the assembly of Brahmanas concerning how to worship the deity in the temple. In that meeting, he also heard that deity may be worshipped within the mind. After this incident, the Brahmana, having bathed in the Godavari river, began mentally worshipping the deity. He could watch the temple within his mind, and then in his imagination, he would bring water from all the sacred rivers in golden and silver water pots. He collected all kinds of valuable paraphernalia for worship, and he worshipped the deity very gorgeously, beginning from bathing the deity and ending with offering artik. Thus he felt great happiness. After many years had passed in this way, one day within his mind, he cooked nice sweet rice with ghee to worship the deity. He placed the sweet rice on a golden dish and offered it to Lord Krishna. But he felt that the sweet rice was very hot, and therefore he touched it with his finger. He immediately felt that his finger had been burned by the hot sweet rice, and thus he began to lament. When the Brahmana was in pain, Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha began smiling. And the goddess of fortune inquired from the Lord why he was smiling. Lord Vishnu then ordered his associates to bring the Brahmana to Vaikuntha. There, the Brahmana attained the liberation of Samipya, the facility of living near the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow. Manasa Puja is so powerful. Sometimes I feel so inadequate. I don't have specific color flowers to make the garland or specific things to make. And in the mind, when we make it, we get the same benefit. It's powerful. Once I'm thinking Fridays, I should dedicate to speaking about classes which are pastimes of the Lord, where we do Manasa Puja and meditate on dressing the deities and doing services like this. All those services that, say, for example, we're not practically able to do, we can meditate on those. Very purifying. Vandanam, you want to read?
Want me to read?
Vandanam, you read, and then I'll do the Dasyam.
Vandanam, although prayers are part of daily worship, they may be considered separate like the other items such as hearing and chanting, and therefore separate statements are given herewith. The Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offer prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful. In this connection, the following are some of the offenses to be avoided: to offer obeisance on one hand, to offer obeisance in one's body covered.
Means like use a blanket to do obeisances.
Not sure. To show one's back to the deity, or to offer obeisance on the left side of the deities. The left side of the deities.
Like you're supposed to offer obeisance the right side of the deity.
Doesn't mean right side of the deity.
Like
Giving your left side to the deities.
Yeah, but not to their, it should be to their right side.
Yeah.
Not to their left side. That's demigods.
Anyway, to offer obeisances very near the deity.
Dasyam. There's a following statement in regard to assisting the Lord as a servant. After many, many thousands of births, when one comes to understand that he's an eternal servant of Krishna, one can deliver others from this universe. If one simply continues to think that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, even without performing any other process of devotional service, he can attain full success. For simply by this feeling, one can perform all 9 processes of devotional service. Sakhyam. In regard to worshipping the Lord as a friend, the Agastya Samhita states that a devotee engaged in performing devotional activities by Shravanam and Kirtanam sometimes want to see the Lord personally, and for this purpose he resides in the temple. Elsewhere, there's a statement, "Oh, my dear Lord, Supreme Personality and Eternal Friend, although you're full of bliss and knowledge, you've become the friend of the residents of Vrindavan. How fortunate are these devotees." In this statement, the word friend is specifically used to indicate intense love. Friendship, therefore, is better than servitude. In the stage above Dasya Rasa, the devotee accepts the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a friend. This is not at all astonishing, for when a devotee is pure in heart and the opulence of his worship of the deity diminishes as spontaneous love for the personality of God is manifested. In this regard, Sridhar Swami mentions Sridham Vipra, who expressed his feelings of obligation, thinking, life after life, may I be connected with Krishna in this friendly attitude. Anything you want to say about Sakhyam?
No.
The word Atmanivedanam refers to the stage at which one has no motive other than to serve the Lord and surrenders everything to the Lord and performs his activities only to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee is like a cow that is sacred by its master. Like a cow that is cared for by its master. When cared for by its master, a cow is not in anxiety over its maintenance. Such a cow is always devoted to its master, and it never acts independently, but only for the master's benefit. Some devotees therefore consider dedication of the body to the Lord to be Atma Nivedanam. And as stated in the book known as Bhakti Viveka, sometimes dedication of the soul to the Lord is called Atma Nivedanam. The best example of Atma Nivedanam are found in Bali Maharaj and Amrish Maharaj. Atma Nivedanam is also sometimes found in the behavior of Rukmini Devi at Dwarka. Yeah, this came up when we did Rukmini Devi topic. Okay, the purport is done.
Okay, so it was a very long purport, of course, very important. So we need to move on. Nishamyetat sutavacho Hiranyakasipustada Guruputram vachedam rusha prashpuritadhara. After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. His lips trembling, he spoke as follows to Shanda, the son of his guru Shukracharya. Brahmabhando, kime tathe vipaksham shayatasata vasaram grihitu balo mamanadhrutya dhurmate. O Durmate, foolish teacher. O unqualified, most heinous son of a Brahmana, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You had taught this poor boy about devotional service. What is this nonsense? So,
Who are these teachers?
Saram, nonsense.
Asaram. Sara. Sara means meaning, and Asara means meaningless, foolish.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, in this verse, the word asaram, meaning having no substance, is significant. For a demon, there is no substance in the process of devotional service. But to a devotee, devotional service, the only essential factor in life. Since Hiranyakashipu did not like devotional service, the essence of life, he chastised Prahlad Maharaj teachers with harsh words. And this is what the Bhagavad Gita says, that what's night for the self-realized is daytime for the materialists, and what's daytime for the material, and vice versa. So it's like for some materialistic people, let's say football or cricket, it's so important in their life. They follow on the radio, they follow on the TV, they read again, they watch the match, then they read again about the match, and then there's okay, what will happen to the next match, and this and that is so important. For the body looks, what is this? This is just a child play. What is important? How is it important? No. Similarly, when the devotees do say a festival, do all the sacrifices, the puja and this, and for some materialistic people, this is all useless. There's nothing. What is this? They worship a statue? They're just wasting money. They just waste. Like once I was in Mayapur, there was this procession. Some guy was some of this. A visitor. There was this procession of the Radha Madhava with all the flowers, and he kind of came to me and say, you use all these flowers, why don't you feed for poor people? Anyway, we were in the middle of the procession, so I didn't get into dialogue. I felt that there are poor people because they did not offer flowers to the deities. That's why they're poor now. They didn't offer anything to the deity. They didn't sacrifice anything. And now, obviously, there may be other reasons, but I'm just saying, there are flowers. We should offer the beauty. What is this all? So it's like the stomach of the human being is the highest, is the paratattva, is the absolute truth, the stomach of human beings. You got to feel the stomach. Anyway, plus, of course, Mahaprabhu, we do so much for distribution. That's not the point. But to speak about against worshiping the deities, this materialists.
I also wanted to add about this purport 26 that and like he's thinking that devotional services is nonsense. So similarly, like when narcissistic persons, they don't value deep, authentic, genuine relationships. They only care about superficially those relationships that give them supply, where they can vent out their anger and when they can feel superior. They don't really value about real relationships because they find those relationships to be useless and like nonsense. If we become, say, for example, worried about authentic feelings, they say, what nonsense, what is all this nonsense? Just focus on external, even if they're devotees, they'll just say, focus on your image, focus on what people tell about you. They will not value, these people don't value true, authentic things. They only care about external image of other people and how they look good. And so this is something I thought it's relevant. Okay.
Okay, but we are on the 27, Shikati. Can you put it?
Oh, this is 26.
Santya sadha santihya sadho loke dhurmaitraschadma bhaishinah ishamudetyagham kale rogapatakinam viva. In due course of time, various types of diseases are manifest in those who are simple. Similar in this world, there are many deceptive friends in false garbs, but eventually, because of their false behavior, the actual enmity becomes manifest. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, being anxious about the education of his boy Prahlad, Hiranyakasipu was very much dissatisfied. When Prahlad began teaching about devotional service, Hiranyakasipu immediately regarded the teachers as enemies in the garb of friends. In this verse, the words roga patakinam, iba, refers to disease, which is the most sinful and miserable of the condition of material life. Disease is the symptom of the body of a sinful person. The Smriti Shastra say, Brahmaha kshaya rogisya surapaha shavadhantaka svarna haritu kunaki duscharma gurutalpagaha. Murderers of Brahmanas are later afflicted by tuberculosis. Drunkards become toothless. Those who have stolen gold are afflicted by diseased nails. And sinful men who have sexual connection with the wife of a superior are afflicted by leprosy and similar skin diseases. I remember of course, you never know what's the cause. Can you stop the show? I remember a story. There was a devotee, a Sankirtan devotee, Brahmachari, very nice. And his father died, and they were rich. It was a rich family. And so he was just very simple brahmachari. He just wanted to go back to book distribution. And basically, all these brothers were very materialistic. So they wanted all the inheritance of the father for themselves. So they just basically told him, yeah, just sign here, just sign here. So he was very happy. Oh, I sign here, then I can go back do book distribution. So he signed, and he just signed. Basically, he was signing the whole inheritance. He didn't want anything. And we are talking about, I don't know because I didn't know the details, but maybe millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars that obviously he could have used for Krishna, right? He could have used for. So, so he was very happy. Oh, just a signature, then I can go. I don't have to go through lawyers and notaries. No, no, sign here. Yeah, and then he signed, was very happy. Then the devotee said, "What did you do?" And then I heard that he got some disease in the hand. I don't know, some sort of swollen on the hand. Of course, we don't know, exactly, but it seemed almost like because he was so irresponsible, and he used that hand for signing away. That's Krishna's property. See, Hari Bhakti Vilas, for instance, Sanatana Goswami talks about different legal or legitimate way to maintain oneself, right? According to Varna, according to nature. But the inheritance is something legitimate. You get money to inheritance. It's like the law in every country. So that's a legitimate money that belongs to you. And if, okay, you're a brahmachari, you want to give everything to the guru, everything to ISKCON, it's fine. But first you have to get it. Not that you give to some materialistic man because, oh, you want to say one day I have to go and book distribution. Anyway, so I just came to my mind. So there are different types of sins. Sometimes irresponsible detachment, or what do you call, just losing for Krishna, losing things which belong to Krishna. Okay, now the teacher's answer, 28.
These were all things that were coming in.
Okay, can you Shri Guru Putra Vacha Namat Pranitanam Namat Pranitam Napara Pranit Nat Pranitam Namat Pranitam Napara Pranitam Sutu Vadati Shatavindra Shatru Naisargikiyam Atirasya Rajan Niyachamanyam Kadadhasmamana. The son of Sukacharya, Hiranyakasipu's spiritual master, said, "O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlada said was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger. Do not unnecessarily accuse us. It is not good to insult a Brahman in this way." Shri Narada Vacha. Guru Naivam Pratiprokto Bhuyaha Sura Shutam Achit Guru Mukhi Amete Uto Bhadra Satimati. Shri Narada Muni continued, when Hiranyakasipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his son Prahlad. Hiranyakasipu said, "You rascal." Let's see how we call it. Abhadra.
Bhadra means auspicious, Abhadra means inauspicious.
You rascal, most fallen of our family. If you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that devotional service is actually Bhadrasati, not Abhadrasa Asati. In other words, knowledge of devotional service can be neither inauspicious nor contrary to etiquette. To learn devotional service is the duty of everyone. Therefore, the spontaneous education of Prahlad Maharaj is supported as auspicious and perfect. Now, one thing, it's interesting, what I find interesting also is like Srila Prabhupada is not too keen on just literal translation, because the literal translation can become very stiff. Like sometimes you see this translation of Mahabharata, very old English or very literal, but very old. It's like hard to read. So Abhadra, or inauspicious one. And where is the rascal? Kuta.
No, Abhadra only he says rascal.
Yeah, Asatimati. Well, most. See, Shirapal again, it gives the Abhadra Satimatihi. No, you are inauspicious and you have a bad inclination. Okay? But he say, Shirapal say, you rascal, most fallen orphan. So it's kind of more immediate. Of course, he offers the region and everything, but sometimes it's more immediate, it's more graphic, it's more
Expressive.
forceful. Yes. Shipraraduvacha, this is a very famous verse. Because, see, okay, Hiranyakasipu says, Asati Mati. You have this very bad idea, you have very bad mentality. Huh? Where do you got this very bad mentality? Where did you get it? And so taking the same word, Brahmana says, Chipraraduvacha Matirna Krishne Paratasvatuva Netu Vipadita Drihavratanam Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram Punascharvita Charvanana.
Famous verse, yeah.
Brahma replied, because of the uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclination toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by combinations of both. So basically, it doesn't really say, look, this type of mati doesn't come materially. Purpose. In this verse, the word Matina Krishna refers to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purposes. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. Because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting things materially, for them constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness, it's impossible. Matirna Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhaktyamam Vijanati, only through devotional service can one understand Krishna's ease. The so-called politicians and scholars think of Krishna as fictitious. The politicians say that Krishna is different from the Krishna depicted in Bhagavad Gita. And of course, Srila Prabhupada has somebody in mind, he knows the scene, the Indian scene very well, so he must have somebody in mind. I don't know who, but even though he accepts Krishna and Rama as the supreme, he thinks of Rama and Krishna as impersonal because he has no idea of service to Krishna. Thus, his only business is punha punas charvita charvananam, chewing the chewed again and again.
The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world with their bodily senses. The body in the material world cannot understand Krishna. The two expressions, Graha Vrata and Charvita Charvana.
No, you skipped a line.
No.
Therefore, it is clearly stated.
No, I'm reading from the previous line.
Okay.
The two expressions, Graha Vrata and Charvita
No,
Charvana.
you skipped the line, Shirade.
Read the Graha Vrata, the only line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Therefore, I missed it. Sorry.
The two expressions, Grahavrata and Charvita Charvananam, indicate that a materialistic person tries to enjoy sense gratification in different bodily forms, life after life, but it is still unsatisfied. In the name of personalism, this ism or that ism, such persons always remain attached to the materialistic way of life, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 244. Bho Aishwarya Prasaktanam Tayapahrit Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadho na Vidyate. In the minds of those who are attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Those who are attached to material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. They cannot understand Bhagavan, Krishna, or his instruction, Bhagavad Gita. And Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram, their path actually leads toward hellish life. As confirmed by Rishabhadev, Mahat Seva Dvara Mahoruvi Mukte, one must try to understand Krishna by serving a devotee. The word Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahatmanastu Mamparta Daivim Prakritimashritaha Bhajantyananya Manaso Nyatva Bhutadim Avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Bhagavad Gita 9:13. A Mahatma is one who is constantly engaged in devotional service 24 hours a day. As explained in the following verses, unless one adheres to such a great personality, one cannot understand Krishna. Hiranyakasipu wanted to know where Prahlad had gotten his Krishna consciousness. Who had taught him? Prahlad sarcastically replied, "My dear father, persons like you never understand Krishna. One can understand Krishna only by serving a Mahat, a great soul. Those who try to adjust material conditions are said to be chewing the chewed. No one has been able to adjust material conditions, but life after life, generation after generation, people try and repeatedly fail. Unless one is properly trained by a Mahatma, or unalloyed devotee of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and his devotional service."
Yeah, so this answer is kind of sarcastic. It's like kind of saying, yeah, don't worry, you won't become Krishna conscious. You're so afraid of this consciousness. Don't worry, that's you are completely vaccinated against this because of your attachments and so on. See, when Srila Prabhupada was saying here at the beginning of the purpose, so-called politicians, really scholarly will read Bhagavad Gita, try to twist some meaning. I was reading this book by Giriraj Maharaj on the building of the temple of Juhu and many other things around that time. So around the time, there was one man who was very famous in India. I don't remember the name, but it was like one of the associates of Gandhi, one who was still alive because Gandhi died some 25 years before, okay? And so this is one associate of Gandhi. He was very famous. He had an ashram somewhere, and he had the Gita, some sort of Gita Sammelan, Gita conference, And they wanted Srila Prabhupada because Srila Prabhupada was very famous, especially for bringing all these foreigners in India. It never happened before, right? So then Srila Prabhupada will come, but you have to pay also a ticket for 10 of my students. So the whole group came. And I don't remember all the details, but the point is that Srila Prabhupada was very critical of them because they had all impractical suggestions. Like one thing, they made a meeting where he was not there. I don't know if he was sick for one day or something. So then they had a lot of respect for him. And in fact, when he came there, it was a little village in the middle of somewhere in Maharashtra. The village people, he was like a superstar. Everybody wanted him to see him and so on. But he was very disappointed. So this ashram dedicated to Gita, the idea of this ashram, okay, let's train some girls. So the girls would go to all over India teaching the Gita. But the ashram, there was maybe 10 girls or something, very small scale, And then they had all these impractical ideas. They made a big meeting, and then one resolution was, let's collect all the editions of the Gita that are in India. Let's study this. And she was like, we need to just take Krishna's words as they are, as it is. No need of all this, okay, this commentary, that commentary. Just take Krishna as it is. And he was stressing, Gita is Krishna. And he was saying, then there was this village and that for them was like everything was sacred. Here is where one day Gandhi said, it's like things very external. And then here Gandhi at the meeting with this people say, so what? Anyway.
Yeah, like we say Prabhupada met
But these are materialists. These are Lord, they are not self-realized soul. They're not Mahatmas really. They just put this name Mahatma, but they're not Mahatma according to the Gita. Anyway, so Srila Prabhupada was very critical, was very adamant, meaning very determined, very clear. You got to listen to Krishna, not this and that and the other thing. It would be interesting. I don't remember the details, but how they had so many resolutions, he kind of blasted all of them. Blasted, oh, this is useless. It just, because ultimately Gita is Krishna consciousness. Mammanava bhakto. Krishna says right in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, at the end of 9th chapter, so right in the middle, Mammanava, think of me, think of Krishna, and become my devotee. That's the Gita. That you can kind of stop there in one sense. Mammanabhoma bhakto. And then at the end, he says the same thing. Mammanabhoma bhakto madhyaji namaskuru. That's the Gita. There's no other Gita. Of course, he talks about so many things, but that's the Gita. Become devotee of Krishna. And then, of course, Krishna comes to Lord Chaitanya. You got to be also devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And what does it mean? Chant Hare Krishna. And so, I'm not saying that everybody should become Gaudiya Vaishnavas, maybe, but okay, become devotee of Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna or chant the holy names of Krishna. Satatam kirtayanto mam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Do kirtan about me. Maybe if you don't want the Maha Mantra, do something else like Vishnu, Om Namo Narayana, or some other mantra. What is some famous mantra? Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Nata Narayana Vasudeva. So, but do that. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So anyway, and it was really reading that you really felt that the whole thing was stale, there's no potency. And there was no real potency. So Srila Prabhupada, by reading this, and I'm sure Srila Prabhupada was thinking about somebody writing these things.
Should we do one more verse or?
It's really late for one more verse because these are very important verses. So these are.
Okay, we can end here.
So thank you. Today, no question, no comments, but I hope you found some interest. Of course, the Bhagavatam at least.
Yeah. All these offenses, reading about all these offenses, like, it's scary.
Okay, we can close here. Tomorrow is Friday. So it's the last day of the week. If you have questions, please prepare them so we can discuss them.
Okay, Parantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai, thank you for being with us.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Hari Bol.